Welcome to the Y&L Harmony community. We're happy you're here, whether you found us by purchasing the Y&L Harmony Planner in printed form or digital form, or you've joined the Friday Huddle community. Either way, we're happy you're here. My name is Lisa Blough, and I am the CEO of Hot Mess Organizing and Design. I'm a professional organizer and the co-creator of the Y&L Harmony Planner that you have found us through.
Hi, I'm Yvonne, and I am the other co-founder of the Y&L Harmony Planner and also a certified life coach, author, and mental health advocate. And I am super stoked that we're finally getting around to recording this so that your introduction to planning with us in Harmony is a little bit easier. That's our goal with this, is to just make this a little bit more relaxing and less overwhelming, and just introduce you to this amazing tool that we have been nurturing and molding for 5 years. I think this is our fifth year this year that we're doing this. So we thought today we'll start with what our weekly setup looks like and why we plan. So we wanted to walk you through what we do on a weekly basis in the Friday Huddle. The Friday Huddle is a 1-hour virtual planning session. You can join us from wherever you are. During that time, we check in with the community. We say hi to the people we haven't seen in a week or so. And then we plan out our next week, because, as Lisa always says, 1 hour of planning will save you 10 hours of doing. So this is why we are doing this. And I want to just share with you that the people that you find in this community have been with us for the last 3 years. And they rarely miss a Friday Huddle, because it is such an important piece of this planning and such a secret to our success with how we've been able to see our goals come through and just really create the life that we love.
Yeah, and when they don't show up, we certainly hear that their weeks don't go as smooth as they do when they do show up. So it is a big accountability piece that is a part of the Harmony community.
Yeah, totally. So how do we start the Friday Huddle, Lisa?
So the Friday Huddle, just like you just said, we do a quick check-in with everybody to see everybody's week is. We usually bring a question where you can answer, or if you're not feeling comfortable or not in a space to share that day, that is okay too. And then we go into our planning individually. And how that works, everybody is a little bit different in how they plan. But when the first time we go through it with people, these are the steps that we use. So the first step is you're going to go to your month at a glance. And this is where your meetings are all inputted for the month. Then you're going to turn to the week that we're planning. And you're going to start inputting all of your scheduled meetings that show up on your month at a glance.
Now, if you are someone who plans digitally, what I do is I look at my weeks on my digital calendar and enter everything that falls into this week.
Yeah, so you're pulling in all of your appointments. So from your months at a glance, from any digital calendars you use, from any scheduling apps that you use for your business or personally, anything and all things. If you have children you're dealing with and any of those appointments that you got, all of those that are already scheduled appointments. Now, we always say in the Harmony community that the first thing that we should schedule is self-care. So that comes in this first step as well. This is when you want to start putting in self-care appointments, whatever that looks like. This doesn't need to be massages or anything that you pay for. It could be just creating some space for you to sit down and meditate or go for a walk or whatever, but making sure that we take care of us first.
And one thing I would like to add here is that Lisa and I both really, really strongly suggest using colors to color code your calendar. It will make it easier to look at your big picture overview. When it comes to self-care, for example, I know my self-care stuff is either yellow or green because it's usually body and wellness, or it's personal things. So find a color that works for you, that really lights you up. I make it fun, and I'm pointing this out because this is a big piece to why planning sometimes doesn't work for people. It's because it's not fun. And we believe that by making it fun and putting your own spin to the things, you will stick with the plan that you create.
So once you've blocked off the time, what you're going to do is you're going to think about the different meetings and appointments that you have and schedule in if there's travel time required. I don't know how you have travel time on there, Yvonne. I normally do like a squiggle line. If it takes me half an hour to drive where I'm going, I'll put a squiggle in there just so that I know that is time that I am busy.
I use a different color.
Also, take a look at what needs to happen before and after any of these appointments. Is there any research that needs to be done before you go into a meeting? If there is, then you need to create blocks of time before that meeting. Maybe it's right before the meeting, maybe it's a couple days before the meeting. Make sure that that is scheduled in so that you're able to show up to your different meetings and appointments prepared. The next thing you want to do is you want to think about if you're going to need any time on the back end of a meeting or an appointment. So maybe you're going to a networking event and you want to create an hour of space the evening after the networking event or the day after, just so that you could follow up with any contacts that you met there. You would schedule that into making sure that you're taking care of business on the after and the before. This works for not just business stuff, but it also works for the family stuff too, or personal stuff, anything like that. Making sure that you're prepared going in and coming out of the different hats we wear as women.
Don't forget to book in lunch and walking your dog or taking care of those things.
And then we also have, so those things that we sometimes forget, like walking the dog, in a weekly checklist and a monthly checklist. And this is where you would put things. The weekly checklist is where you would park things that happen every week that you want to make sure that you scheduled in and you don't forget. Maybe you have an appointment that happens every week. You would plunk those there so that when you're planning your week, at the end of it, you go through the list and make sure that everything that happens weekly is scheduled into your week. So now that you've got your appointments mapped out for the week, now we want to take a look at what are your intentions for the week? What are you working on this week? Now, in the Harmony community, we do have a retreat that we host and work through intentions for the year. And this is where we would grab those from, is from the goals from the year, broken up into months. We would pull that forward. Or maybe you're working on a project this week. Maybe you have a big project that's due by the end of the week. Maybe this week you want to focus on self-care because you are heading towards burnout and just need to take care of that. Whatever it is, you're going to transfer your intention to your weekly layout. Oh, that's the quarterly planning that I was referring to. Thanks, Yvonne. You're going, whatever your intentions are for the week. I always pluck these on the left-hand side there in the shaded area. And I put them there so that I can continually look back to what my intentions are for the week. Sometimes I will color code them. So let's say, for instance, I need to work on some self-care this week. I will write it in the left-hand side, but I will also highlight it in the color. And the reason that I do this, and whether it's work or whatever it is, the reason I do this is once my week is planned, I can take a look at the color coding that's done. And if my intention was to spend a better part of my week on self-care, then I better see a lot of that self-care color in my week. If not, then I need to either read or find different places to put it in. It just keeps you accountable to make sure that you're on par for what your actual intention is this week. Sometimes we get so busy and so in the weeds that we come out at the end of the week and don't feel like we've accomplished what we wanted to accomplish. For me, this is a constant reminder of what my intentions are for the week.
What are the areas up top here about, Lisa?
So these are, I use this as the top 3 things. So I don't do this for every day of the week when I'm planning on during the Friday Huddle. These sometimes will come the night before or the day before when something comes up. This is what I put up here that don't require a full half an hour to do. So they're quick things that I can do quickly. If I've got to call and make an appointment, like a doctor's appointment, that would be something I would put out there because I'm not going to put it in any of the blocks. I also have been known to use it for a priority list. So at the end of the day, I cannot go to bed until whatever is up there is completed. So I use it for a couple different things. And I know people in our community use it for their own means as well, but that keeps it front and center for me up there.
And then underneath that, I put important dates, like if there's a birthday or if there is an anniversary or if there is a super moon or it's something special that is happening in the astrology, I put that in these spots that are right here as well.
Right. And some people will put their cycles up there. It's really used for whatever you need. So in the weekly layout, now that you have the appointments in there and you've taken care of stuff before and after the appointment, the follow-ups and the prep work and the travel time and all of that kind of stuff, and your self-care is in there, now we can start putting blocks of time together. This is another advantage to color coding because we want to try to keep working in the same side of the brain in the same time block. So if you've got something you're working on creatively in the morning, like you've got a meeting with a team and you're working creatively, you want to tack on more time after or before that meeting to continue to stay in that creative mind space instead of going to something like accounting or something like that right after. So being very mindful about blocking these times together.
So for example, on Fridays, we have the Friday Huddle. And then right after that, Lisa and I often schedule a planning session for the planner, for the marketing or for social media. So that is what Lisa means, is like time block, same activities with same activities, because once we're in motion, those activities take us less time than if we switch back and forth between creative and doing and planning.
Yeah, it takes us a lot longer to get into those different areas than if we stay in them. I'd just say a little caveat here when we're talking about time blocking. If this is your first kick at the can, as it were, to time blocking, just know that you will gain information from every week that you do this. So you will start to discover what time frame certain tasks take you. So the first time you plan, you may have blocked off an hour to do something and that takes you 3 hours. That's great information so that when you go into your next week planning, you'll be able to be better prepared and plan an appropriate time for those different tasks. The other thing I want to say is do not time block every block in there. Have some white space in there because life happens, things happen. And the more flexible that you can be, the better it will work for you and your mindset. Even though maybe you've blocked off from 9 till 11 to do something, maybe life gets in the way and you get pulled in another direction. Know that you can plunk that block of time somewhere later in that day, or you can move it again to another day. Just because it's in your calendar on that day and that time, it's not written in stone. It is in highlighter, but you can move it around. And be very aware of the time that you'll need in between blocks. Maybe you're in a meeting that is going to be a bit heavy or maybe emotional. If you're coming out of a meeting and you're just going to need a little bit more time to move into the next block, maybe you're going to need to move around. Maybe you need to take the puppy for a walk. Block that in then. Make sure that you're taking the time to move from one block to another.
I think it's a smart idea to just always have a cushion in between meetings, because we never know what comes up in meetings or what happens or how much time we may need to get to and from the next meeting. You know, a big piece of what we're doing with the Y&L Harmony Planner is actually slowing down so that we can speed up. So slowing down in order that we can be the best version of ourselves. And rushing from one thing to the next and filling our calendar jam-packed isn't the solution. Having a cushion between meetings or anything, having a cushion between different activities is always a great idea to give yourself that reset that you might need in order to be present for the next activity that you're doing, or the next meeting that you're going into, or the next person that you're meeting.
So the left-hand side on the bottom there, it's I'm grateful for. This is where, for me, when we do the check-ins at the Friday Huddle, that's what we're doing, is we're taking a look at how was our last week. And maybe there's some gratitude in there. Maybe there's something you noticed in there. Maybe there was something you learned from the last week. This kind of stuff, that is where I put that information. And I do that on a week-to-week basis, because when we come to the end of the month, and there is a monthly review at the backside of every month in the Y&L Harmony Planner, and oftentimes I can't remember what I had for breakfast, never mind what I did the first week of the month. So being able to go back and look at those grateful quadrants is very helpful for me in order to fill out this review, reflect, and reward at the end of the month. And then I think the next step is the quick look at your week planned, making sure that you are spending the time where your intention was meant to be, and redirecting, refocusing, or just being okay with that's what's coming up this week. And if you also put stuff in your digital calendar, right? Nothing worse than being out and you don't know what's coming up. I will mimic this in my digital calendar so I know where I'm supposed to be and what I'm supposed to be doing.
Oh, so lovely. And I do want to speak to that for just 1 minute, because boy, did I have resistance to this, writing it into a paper planner when I first met Lisa. And Lisa insisted on it. Lisa was very adamant that planning needs to happen on paper. And I thought, oh gosh, this is going to be double the time. I'm going to be doing this and that. I'm going to miss things and I'm going to be all lost and whatnot. I am right here to tell you that it is the exact opposite. Initially, it might feel like you're doing double the entries, and you are. However, when you are color coding things and you're writing them down onto paper, you are able to stick that to memory. And now I don't live by my calendar telling me what's next. I know what's next. I'm just going to my digital calendar to confirm maybe where I'm going or who I'm meeting with. But what I do know is that at 2:00 I have another meeting, because that has been imprinted in my brain in a different way than when I just planned digitally, where it was easy to miss the lunches because it wasn't real. It was digital. And so I hope to every one of you who is resisting this as I was, that you give this a try. Just give it a try for a month. Maybe it takes 3 months for you to get used to it. And I promise you, you will not regret this. It makes such a difference to your nervous system, to just how you're able to show up. And it's just so much fun. Like Lisa said earlier, the weeks I have to miss the weekly huddle, I sit down afterwards now on my own and do the planning, because I can't live without doing the planning anymore. And that speaks to the Friday Huddle. Lisa, if you just want to remind everyone when that is, for those who haven't joined us before, where they can find us.
The Friday Huddle is Fridays at 2:00 Mountain Standard Time. We meet every Friday, even on long weekends. And you can find the link to us
at bit.ly. So that's bit.ly, Huddle Friday, one word, capital H and capital F. You can also find us on Facebook. We have a Plan with Harmony Facebook group. You're welcome to join us there. And we have the link in there as well. And we occasionally post in there. I have to admit, we haven't been in there as actively. It seems like people are more in our WhatsApp group now than they are in the Facebook group. So we also have a WhatsApp group, which I'm happy to add you. Once you come to the huddle, you can let me know if you'd like to be added, and I'll send you the link so you can join the WhatsApp group as well.
And I know I have the link to the huddle on my Instagram page as well, which is Hot Mess Organizing. So that's also an easy, quick find.
Yeah, I do as well on mine. If you want to follow Lisa and myself, we would love that. Lisa's is Hot Mess Organizing, and mine is Yvonne Winkler _. So that's it. We hope you enjoyed this and we hope this is helpful. Join us on the Friday Huddle and let us know what else you need.
We're happy you're here. We are grateful for your purchase. And we are always wanting to hear from the people that are using our planner, digitally or printed, what they find helpful, which part they love. If there's maybe something missing we could add. We are always wanting to improve based on how people are using the Harmony Planner.